Hello everyone, I'm Hira Fatima and it is truly an honor to welcome you all to the opening session of 7th Shaw-IAU Workshop on Astronomy for Education. I am deeply grateful for the invitation to share my journey as National Astronomy Education Coordinator for Pakistan. Let me begin by sharing my slides. I have been serving the IAU Office of Astronomy for Education for the past few years as a NAEC for Pakistan. Today, I will share how this role has empowered me to enhance astronomy education initiatives in my country and in many ways even beyond. Through this journey, I will touch upon the challenges I encounter, the lessons I learned, the milestones we achieved, and our ongoing efforts toward building more transformative, meaningful, and inclusive astronomy education initiatives. As I take you through the story, I hope that everyone in the diverse audience finds something valuable in it. For our new Nikes, perhaps you will find ideas that will help you shape or reshape your own journey. For those who may become future Nikes, I hope this provides a clear picture, a clear understanding of what the role involves and the impact it can create. For our senior and experienced Nikes, I look forward to your insights and hopefully future collaboration. And for the astronomy and space educators joining us, I hope this give you a glimpse into how Nikes work closely with teachers in their countries and how you might collaborate with your respective Nikes as well. So when I chose this path, the question is why I chose this path. Since my childhood, I have always believed that education should be a right, not a privilege. That belief shaped everything I did later in life. During my undergrad years, I started voluntarily for working for space education, visiting schools, conducting activities, giving small talks whenever I was invited. And during my master's, I intensified these efforts. I traveled across the country for conferences. I met educators and researchers and built a network of people and organizations who shared similar goals. But everywhere I went, I noticed the same gaps. Every there were very few institutes that offered space educations, and even fewer had any specialization in astronomy or astrophysics. This lack in academic pathways was reflected in our national representation. Very few Pakistani in the field simply because the opportunities did not exist. At the school level, astronomy and space science were almost absent from the curriculum. So during outreach, when I asked students what they wanted to become, they would say engineer, doctor, lawyer, artist, soldier, but hardly anyone said astronomer, space scientist, or an astronaut. Not because they were not interested, but because they had never been exposed to these possibilities. So, instead of sitting back and complaining, I felt a strong responsibility to contribute, to help build something better for the next generation, especially for students who might want to follow the path like mine, but don't yet see a way forward. In 2020, in early 2020, I received the wonderful news that IAU had established the Office of Astronomy for Education as a global initiative dedicated to supporting astronomy community and helping educators being to bring the facilitation of astronomy into classroom around the world. The vision of OAE deeply resonated with mine, And it was not just about astronomy, it was about education, access, and creating opportunities for students everywhere. One of the major activities announced was formation of a wonderful worldwide network of National Astronomy Education Coordinators, the NAECs, and shortly afterward, the call for NAECs was officially opened. I was extremely excited about this opportunity. I applied right away. And to be very honest, I was very optimistic that the OAE would shortlist me. I had put a lot of thought, motivation, and passion into my application. But then weeks passed, and then months, and I did not hear anything back. So finally, I wrote to our beloved Gwen Sanderson, as many of us here know her. I sent her a very polite email. Hello, Gwen. I hope you are doing great. It has been a while since I submitted my application, and I was wondering when we might hear the outcome. And then, very smoothly, I added a little update about myself because by the time I applied, I was a master's student. But in those months, I had defended my thesis, organized several outreach events, supervised some student projects, and so on. And now I am planning to pursue PhD. Basically, I wanted her to know that I was growing and I was genuinely passionate about the cause. So Gwen responded promptly and kindly. She explained that OEE was waiting for more applications so that they could announce the entire Nike team at once rather than replying applicants individually. So yes, Gwen was absolutely right. It was really just a few months, but to me it felt like years. I think many of us have experienced this kind of waiting. I remember writing again and thinking, please take all the time you need to receive and review the applications. As long as the process is still going, I'm still very hopeful. And I truly held on to that hope. I believe that if this opportunity was meant for me, it would come. And if not, I would still keep working for astronomy education in every way I could. And then one day, the email finally arrived. OEE announced the entire team of Nikes together, and there it was my selection letter along with the detailed role description and responsibilities. And at first, the list felt very long, but as time passed, I realized that every single responsibility mattered, and my team and I eventually fulfilled all of them with dedication. So I asked myself, what does it truly mean to be a Nike? For me, it meant becoming a bridge, bringing global insights to Pakistan and making sure that voices and realities of Pakistan are represented on global astronomy education conversations. Our very first action as the Nike team was to write a report on the status of astronomy education in Pakistan, a very perfect starting point. So, education in Pakistan is governed by Federal Ministry of Education and provincial authorities with six stages of schooling and four types of institutions. In 2006, Pakistan began a major curriculum reform to prepare students for a world shaped by modern science and technology. So, as a result, in 2018, astronomy was included for the very first time in national science textbooks for class 4 to 8. However, astronomy had been neglected for decades, and its sudden inclusion created challenges. Many science teachers, especially in under resourced schools, felt unprepared. With limited funding and almost no local expertise in astronomy education, no teacher training existed at that time. Um, After that, I had the privilege to assist IAU OEE with the astronomy curriculum around the world spreadsheet. This work allowed me to closely review the previous and the updated national astronomy curriculum for Pakistan. It also sparked my interest in understanding how astronomy is taught globally. So I began exploring and comparing astronomy education in different countries to see what we could learn and adapt. Then came the call for proposals for the IAU OEE teacher training pilot project, and I immediately felt this was my moment. I had always wanted to work closely with the school teachers because while outreach to students is wonderful, it reaches a limited number. But by empowering teachers, you can reach thousands of students every year, multiplying the impact far beyond what one person can do. So, we wrote our first ever proposal, putting full effort, passion, and hope into it. And yes, we were truly over the moon when we received our first ever international grant. This was a turning point for us, and we were determined to maximize the impact of this opportunity and to ensure our efforts were sustainable and long lasting. So, for this first ever astronomy teacher training program of its kind in Pakistan, we invited 20 secondary school science teachers, and our goal was very clear. We wanted to empower teachers with the skills, confidence, and resources they need to teach astronomy content that is now part of national science curriculum, and to teach it in a meaningful uh, and engaging way. So the training included a mix of activities, lectures, hand-on experiments, sky observation, group discussions, and even a small project work. So we created low-cost DIY kits so that teachers could easily implement the activities in their own classrooms, regardless of school resources. For many of the teachers, this was the very first time uh, visiting an observatory, which made the experience even more exciting and memorable. To further enrich the training, we invited international speakers, including the IAU president at that time, Professor Deborah, as well as Shiamisu Anna and Said from OAE, Dr. Gayatri from European Space Agency, Dr. Akif from UAE Space Agency, and Mr. Ghulam Mustafa from Pakistan Space Agency. Their presence truly energized and inspired our participants. We organized this entire training with a very small team, a few colleagues from University of Karachi and some very dedicated student volunteers. Running a program like this requires a huge amount of effort, thoughtful planning, and really committed execution. Every activity, every resource, every session had to design uh, very carefully to meet the needs of our teachers. So the question is, what does it take to design an inclusive and empowering STEM education program? Well, it depends on whom you ask. However, based on my experience of curating several training, I think first of all you should ask yourself, what change do you want to see? Who are you empowering? It is very important to define the key principles and core values before anything. And it is important to understand their context, culture, language, needs, barriers, and strengths. For that, you can consult them directly through surveys, informal chats, or teacher insights. And after that, the next step in designing your program is to identify barriers and plan to address them. You should ask yourself what limits access or agency, then integrate solution into your program design right from the beginning. Use local examples, stories, and familiar contexts. Include images and stories of diverse scientists, especially women. Make activities hands-on, inquiry-based, and interactive, and encourage learners to ask questions, discuss, and present their findings. And it is important to involve teachers and community members whenever it's possible in shaping activities or adapting them. For example, let teachers modify activities to fit their class realities. Focus on building skills, leadership, and sustainability within a community by training local leaders or youth leaders to continue the program. Whenever possible, provide open resources and mentoring opportunities. And last but not the least, gather feedback from participants. Reflect. Ask questions like, did it increase the access? Did it build the confidence at agency? So yes, we followed all these points in organizing our first ever teacher training, and with the that first training, that was not just a project; it became a proof of concept. Its success opened door for us. It helped us secure more grants and expand our efforts and the impact. So we also began building collaborations with education department, national institutions, and international astronomy organizations. These partnerships played a huge role in scaling our impact. Another important achievement was development of contextual learning resources. We translated and even created hands-on educational material and training kits to fit the needs of our local teachers and our local environment. Through surveys and conversations, we gain ground level insights into status of astronomy education in Pakistan and the daily challenges faced by science educators. This understanding shaped our next steps. Based on the workshop evaluation and teacher feedback, we generated new ideas and approaches for making astronomy more accessible, relevant, and meaningful. And of course, one of the most important outcome has been our growing community. Teachers, students, educators, and astronomy enthusiasts from all around the region connected through same passion. And to sustain engagement, we also created a blog and mailing list to keep teachers and students updated with astronomy content, national and international opportunities and resources. This helped us sustain continuous communication even after the workshops ended. So, one of the most rewarding part of the journey has been what happened after the workshop. Many of the participating teachers went back to their schools and actively implemented the resources and activities we introduced to them. And they did not just use them, they also shared their feedback with us and even kept us updated about how their students responded. Seeing that excitement grow in classrooms across the region was truly inspiring, and we made sure to keep these teachers closely connected. We invited them to other events we organized, featured their work, and celebrated their efforts on our platforms. We also supported them in participating in various national and international opportunities, for example, World Space Week, NASA Space App Challenge, International Astronomy and Astrophysics Competition, and even different citizen science projects. As NAEC, one of our important responsibilities is to submit an annual report. This report includes these sections as mentioned here. So yes, after our first year as NICE, we wrote our first annual report, and we have continued writing them every year since. I don't know exactly how the OAE analyzes all these reports, but I can say one thing with confidence. Writing them help us reflect on how far we have come, and it clearly shows us what we want to achieve in the years ahead. It's like a roadmap of our growth and our future direction. So after writing this report, I asked myself, what is next? So based on the success of our of that first teacher training funded by OEE, we felt confident and motivated to expand our efforts, and we were able to secure national grants to organize our second teacher training workshop. This time, our goal was slightly different. We wanted to introduce teachers to space science as a gateway to STEM education. We wanted them to see how astronomy and space science concept can spark curiosity, build scientific thinking, and open doors to broader STEM learning. During this teacher training and in several programs that followed, we made sure to integrate themes that promote inclusion and visibility in astronomy. We celebrated OEE theme event Women and Girls in Astronomy, which was wonderful opportunity to highlight female role models and share their stories, inspire both teachers and students. We also hosted OAO Meet the IAU Astronomer sessions, where participants had the chance to interact directly with professional astronomers from all around the world. Building on our earlier work, and with the support of OEE, once again, we organized a workshop called Reaching for the Moon, Astronomy STEAM Workshop for Teachers. The inspiration for this workshop came from two things. First, the strong cultural significance of observing the moon in our society, and the second, the detailed sections on the moon in our school science textbooks. We felt this was the perfect opportunity to bring teachers an approach that connects science with culture, creativity, and everyday life. So we adopted a STEAM approach, making learning richer, more hands-on, and more engaging. This helped teachers see how astronomy can be taught in a way that feels meaningful, relatable, and exciting to the students. In all our previous workshops, teachers had the opportunity to do telescopic observation. They also built small DIY telescopes, and the best part was that they could take these telescopes back to their schools and they can make them with their students. Over the time, many of these teachers returned to our observatory with their students for telescopic observations. And at that point, I realized we could go beyond hands-on activities and observations. We could empower teachers and their students to work with real data just like scientists do. Karachi, known as City of Lights, stands Pakistan's most cosmopolitan city. Despite its vibrant nature, the presence of astronomical observatories is limited as compared to the vast number of academic institutions. The scarcity of local astronomical observatories, coupled with light pollution in urban areas and the limited accessibility to remote observatories, underscore the critical role of robotic or online telescopes in astronomy education. To take our educational programs to the next level, I wanted teachers and students in Pakistan to do real astronomical observations and work on real astronomical data. So I become Last Cumbers Observatory Global Sky Partner. So for 2 years, we incorporated LCO's worldwide network of 0.4-meter robotic telescopes into our educational programs. We train school teachers, high school teachers, and students. For these programs, we secured funding from Royal Astronomical Society, and for school students and teachers, I translated this wonderful comic book in Urdu. Teacher and students could submit observation requests, receive real data, and explore the universe just like professional astronomers. It was truly magical to see their faces light up when they realized they were doing real science remotely from their classrooms. We also train undergrad students. They analyze the data for their class projects and presented it in several meetings. Karachi is a huge city, and we tried our level best to reach as many areas as possible, but at some point I realized we needed to extend our educational program beyond the city, especially to regions that are underserved and face multiple challenges. This led to AstroThar project supported by IAU Office of Astronomy for Development. Our target was Thar Parker, a desert region that is remote, sparsely populated, and frequently affected by disasters. As part of this project, we organize intensive STEM teacher training, bringing together 50 science teachers from region. The goal was to equip teachers with knowledge, tools, and inspiration to bring astronomy and STEM learning to their schools and students despite all the challenges of their environment. During the AstroThar project in Thar Parker, we visited local schools and led hands-on STEM activities, giving students the chance to engage directly with science and astronomy in fun and practical ways. We also conducted sky observation sessions with the students. If you want a glimpse of the experience, you can scan this QR code to watch a short video of our visit. I have always had a deep appreciation for citizen science project as they allow students and teachers to engage with real scientific research. Recently, my growing interest in observing the universe at multiple wavelengths led me to join Radio Galaxies project as an education and outreach member. And I have been motivating teachers to bring this project into their classrooms. It's an amazing opportunity for students to participate in real research, classifying galaxies, and learning about the universe in a hands-on way. And the project is available on Zooniverse website in 7 different languages, making it accessible for students all around the world. This led to an interesting new initiative, Radio Astronomy for Development, Intercultural Innovation and Outreach, or RADIO. So this project draws inspiration from Radio Galaxy Zoo Citizen Science Project, but with a broader mission, connecting communities, fostering intercultural collaboration, and promoting education through radio astronomy. It is truly international collaboration bringing together educators and researchers and students from different countries. This project is supported by IAU Office of Astronomy for Development, and it aims to build a modern Silk Road, not for trade, but for knowledge, collaboration, and radio astronomy education. So, three countries are participating in this project: Greece, China, and Pakistan. And here are few glimpses of our project in action, showing teachers and students engaging with radio astronomy, citizen science, and educational activities. If you want to explore the project in more depth, I highly recommend attending Dr. Alini Vardolaki's talk in the session Teaching with Authentic Data Part 1. She will share all the details about this project. So, over the years, I have had the privilege to build collaborations and join forces with both national and international organizations to advance astronomy and space education in Pakistan and beyond. I am truly thankful for the support of all these organizations. Without them, our initiatives would not have been possible. And when I decided to become a space educator, I made sure to turn my personal passion for space and astronomy into a broader community impact by aligning it with UN Sustainable Development Goals. For example, SDG 4, quality education, SDG 5, gender equality, SDG 10, reduce inequalities, and SDG 17, partnership for goals. For me, education in astronomy is not just about teaching science, it's a tool to empower, connect, and inspire communities under one sky. So, this has been my ever evolving journey as a knight, and recently I developed growing interest in collaborating with astronomy education researchers to bridge the gap between astronomy education research and astronomy education practice, which led me to join AstroASL and Astronomy Education Research Network. One of the highlights for me was being invited to House of Astronomy in Heidelberg for basic astronomy questionnaire meeting because after working with IAU OAE for several years, it was very special moment, both humbling and inspiring to be part of that discussion. So, if there is one thing I have learned on this journey is that you can start very small. I did with very limited resources, a very tiny team, and honestly, no idea how far that path could lead me. But I led with purpose. I tried to open doors for others, especially for teachers and students who deserve these opportunities. And something beautiful happened. The path became clearer as I walked. So even the smallest initiatives can grow into large, meaningful impact if you stay consistent and stay connected to your why. And believe me, limited resources are not barrier. They actually force you to think creatively. And sometimes that leads to most powerful and innovative solutions. So no matter where you are in your career, there is always something you can do. Start small, start now, and let your passion carry you forward.